Good morning again, Mile High Church. We welcome you here this morning. So grateful to share the stage with Barry Ebert and Michelle Medrano. We're beginning a new series on spring renewal led by Dr. Michelle today, and we'll be hearing a message as well from Dr. Barry. And a little later, we'll be hearing a conversation with our own Roger Teal and Marianne Williamson. So we're so glad that you're here with us today. And Barry, Michelle, it's so good to see you. I think I just want to ask how you're doing. And as well, you know, in a time of so many uncertainties, a lot of people feel that we're living in a lot of unknowns. How are you maintaining or cultivating faith at this time?
Well, I think just kind of leaning into the uncertainty, and it's something, we're great planners. We've all got our planning things that we have, and so to lean into this much uncertainty, I think is the biggest change that we're facing here, because we like to plan and know what's going next. And so it's interesting how we keep giving ourselves dates that we're shooting for, and this date and this date. And I think one of the most important things to me has been to just bring myself into the day that I'm in, and not try to bring myself too far into the future, but to really see the gift that lies in the day that I'm in, and the books that I'm reading, and the meditation, and the music, and my relationship with Stephanie, and our opportunities to connect through the ways that we have now. But to bring myself into the preciousness of each day is what I'm trying to do, and not to put myself too much into the future, because I think there's a lot of anxiety, and we just make stuff up there. And I think the gift is in the day that we've got.
Yeah, I've learned about myself that where I'm practicing trust in my life, I have energy, but where I'm not practicing trust, that's often where I'm feeling drained. If I'm giving too much into anxiety or uncertainty, and certainly these are uncertain times, so there's some point to have a little bit of anxiety here or there, but where I can focus on one day at a time, or recognizing a path that's made by laying one stone at a time, then I can, not fall into that exhaustion that being in anxiety nonstop can cause for me.
For me, I've noticed how it's absolutely clear now through this experience that I'm a people person, that I really like people, and I like being with people. And
I think we knew that.
I think you probably figured that out maybe, but I'm really clear now. And so I guess part of my own personal anxiety is I was feeling nervous when I started to realize I'm going to have to stay home, and how will I satisfy that need? I've got a great person at home with me, my husband Ken, and he works and I'm working, but I've been really heartfully, pleasantly surprised that the new technology way that we're connecting has satisfied and satiated that need for me, as not as well, but has helped me feel connected to people, surprisingly connected to people. In a class, I did a all-day class yesterday with the ministerial students, and have had plenty of time seeing y'all on Zoom. It's nice to see you here in person, but seeing your faces on Zoom, and just like you're asking right now, how are you doing? Checking in, making sure people are okay, being able to support people and converse with people. I think it's been helping me a lot to just feel connected to people.
It is great, and it's been one of the things I've been so thankful for here at Mile High. I mean, we miss you like hell.
We do.
Boy, do we miss you. Mm-hmm. And yet, through the blessing of being able to do these online services, starting 2 classes online, we're actually reaching and supporting as many people as we would at any time. Mm-hmm. And that feels good, especially in a time of challenge. It's so hard being a servant leader. I'm sure you can both relate to that, and not being able to hug or touch or see our people, and to use these mediums. And I'm sure that's true for many of you at home. We have to be in consciousness and prayerfulness, but just like to your point, Michelle, we can reach out, and we can find new opportunities in this as well. And I would ask you both as well, I hear a lot of people saying, I can't wait for things to go back to normal. And I kind of pause when I say that to myself, because maybe there's some aspects of what was that maybe wasn't serving me that I can change. And so I wonder if you have anything to say about building a new normal for ourselves.
If we go back to what we were just talking about, connecting, I've asked myself, what if this time where we're physically apart is giving us an opportunity to evolve our deep truly deep sense of connectedness? What if that's part of the opportunity that's here? That there are people I know who are all alone, who are living alone. They don't have any other people around, like I know I do, and I know you all do. They're by themselves, and there could be this temptation on the part of people who are alone to feel lonely, people who feel disconnected from each other. But what if there's a deepened opportunity, and the new norm will come with being together, but with being together physically, but with a greater sense of connectedness like never before? And what could that bring us? This virus is something that could impact everyone in some way. It's not seeking out certain groups of people. It's not looking for certain political groups. It's not something that manifests in certain socioeconomic status. It's not just for people who live alone or people who it's bringing us together to be doing things on behalf of each other, to protect each other, so that we're protecting ourselves and each other. It's a very powerful thing that is connecting us in a way that we can't overlook, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that's part of what comes out of this, the evolution of connection.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. How about for you, Barry?
How about you, Barry?
Well, I think, we say this a lot, like we've never been here before. But truly, I think we're all feeling that now, that we have truly never been here before. And I think one of the things that you just touched on, Michelle, is that we have really a strong sense of tribalism in our culture, and probably in all cultures. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to expand that idea and to move ourselves away from these political tribes and socioeconomic tribes and ethnic tribes, and to see that we truly are connected. In the place that we are in history now of having this technology which connects the whole world, and to seeing how the whole world really is connected now and really is one living organism. I think that when we move out into this the next phase, there is going to be a new normal. We're going to be experiencing a sense of connectedness that we never have had before. And I think that's the gift that lies in this time of which seems like darkness and disconnection. I think that there is a sense here of us being a part of this what we call global consciousness. And I think the opportunity here is for us as individuals, when we move out into it, is like, how can I bring myself to this new normal in a way that helps everyone now?
Yeah, I've been preparing for a class on Joseph Campbell that we're starting on April 7th, and a couple quotes that really struck me, to your point, Michelle. The first is, he says, the second law of life is survival, but the first law of life is that we're all one. Mm-hmm. And remembering that. And the other thing he says is, when the world is falling apart, the thing to hold on to is your own bliss, because that's the only thing that survives. And I do think that for some of us, yes, there's so much going on, but it's a reminder, as we've had to pause, have I lost touch with my bliss?
Right.
Have I been struggling or in conflict with my bliss and that which makes me feel most alive? Mm-hmm. And whether you're bored or depressed or happy as can be, whatever it may be, what a good time to get in touch with your bliss, and to practice it and find opportunities to cultivate it and to plan for it, because this world needs it. It needs your bliss more than ever.
And the illusion is part of what I want to talk about later in my message that you're touching into. Is the illusion is that our bliss is out there. And certainly things that are happening out there contribute to the experience of bliss, but we are absolutely responsible, accountable, and able to generate that bliss right here in the silence of our own being, if we let ourselves. And that's one of the gifts of right now too. So we're giving my whole talk away. I think I just won't even do a talk today.
We'll find a way. We can
wait a minute.
reiterate.
I am a minister after all. I'll figure it out. I'll get up there and do it.
I'm confident that you're going to come up with something.
I'm sure.
I think that one of the things that we're realizing is we have less opportunities to go outside and do stuff is that how many distractions we have. And so as this kind of thing closes down, we do start to see what's important to us and how do we really spend our time, and also, how are we at being with ourselves? How are we at being with ourselves?
Right.
That idea of most of our problems and our evil coming from the inability to sit in a room alone. Blaise Pascal said that. And I think there's truth to that. Can I just sit here and be okay today? And I think this closing in on the present moment has a tremendous gift for us as we move into expansion. What do we want to bring with us? What do we want to bring with us that we've learned during this time? And I think there's a richness, and we want to push ourselves out of us. We want it to go faster. And I think what we're learning is it's what it is. And to move into the uncertainty of it with a connection to something greater than we are. And to fall into that uncertainty and to have a sense of faith. Our faith is being tested now. And that's why it's so good for us to be together in this way and to strengthen our faith together. And that's what I love about this medium that we have here, that we can feel each other. I can feel the faith of the people who are tuned in right now with us, and it's a great feeling.
It's beautifully said, and just sitting next to Barry and Michelle, I'm reminded of how much I love both of you, that you're part of my bliss, and I think it's hard for a lot of us because we love other people so much, and yet when we ask ourselves, how can I best love my friends, my community,
Right.
The answer right now is to actually physically be away from them, which
is.
is hard, but it's how we can best love them as we're helping to guide ourselves through this process. But what I want you to remember is that doesn't mean you can't love them anymore. And for those of us who are finding times of boredom or feeling stuck in our lives, there's a quote from Martin Fisher. He says, a conclusion is that place where you got tired of thinking. This is a time to be creative with our lives, creative with our hearts, and creative with our being.